Thank you, Jackie. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. This is such an exciting event. And WLKY, on behalf of WLKY, I'd like to say thank you, and thank you to Norton Healthcare for allowing us the opportunity to be part of such a wonderful event. I have the pleasure of introducing our speaker for the night. Let me tell you a little bit about him. Now a resident of Sarasota, Florida, John Baumann lived in Louisville for more than 20 years. At the age of 54, he's already led a full life and believes he's achieved more since being diagnosed with Parkinson's disease than before his diagnosis in 2002. After graduating summa cum laude from the University of Massachusetts and earning his law degree from Cornell Law School, Baumann worked as an attorney for 26 years, representing several large corporations and a private firm. He's well known for his work, of course, as an inspirational speaker and author and guest commentator for CNN Headline News Primetime. He also left his mark as a faculty member at the University of Louisville until 2013 and was selected Most Inspiring Professor in 2010. Baumann is an example of how embracing adversity can have a very positive impact on our lives. He shared his message at more than 70 symposiums in 5 countries, including the World Parkinson Congress in Montreal in 2013. His presentations and his workshops motivate participants through 12 action steps, including exercise, talk of exercise, healthy living, and a positive attitude. Baumann considers himself healthier now than before he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and he believes that you can be as well. He's an accomplished writer. His book, JohnDecideSuccess, You Ain't Dead Yet, has been endorsed by a former governor, I love that name, corporate CEOs and executives from the healthcare and nonprofit sectors. He's also contributed to Ken Blanchard and Deepak Chopra's Roadmap to Success and other books. He's produced DVDs and CDs and hosted an internet talk show on success. And if that wasn't enough, Baumann is also the chair emeritus of the Make-A-Wish Foundation's board of directors, board member of the Parkinson Support Center, and an appointed ambassador of the Michael J. Fox Foundation. I had the pleasure of spending just a few minutes backstage with John and his wife Bernadette. To say the very least, I could see in just a few minutes why he's such an inspiration to so many people. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our very special speaker for tonight, John Baumann.
One of the things I talk about with confidence is regain your shout. I don't quote many people, but Tim Story says regain your shout. Remember when you walked in the house when you were 10 or 12 years old and you said, "I'm home!" Like you're announcing to the world your presence. Maybe nobody's home, but it doesn't matter. You're saying it. "I'm home." That's regaining your shout. I don't know where we lost that along the way, but somehow we get beaten down and we lose that. Well, regain your shout. Something that's important to do. Take time and medication. I guess I blew it there. Healthy diet. We made the decision, as I think I mentioned, to give up meat. We also made the decision to not drink any diet soda or regular soda. Cold turkey. I used to love my root beer. I love my root beer. But I watched a lot of documentaries, and this is what you need to do. Watch documentaries. Don't spend your time with the housewives from hell. Watch documentaries. She loves the housewives. That's why that's an inside joke. Watch documentaries. Food matters. Vegetated. Whatever. But get educated on the healthy diet. One of the things that they talk about with Parkinson's all the time now is exercise. Exercise. 10 years ago when I started doing inspirational speeches, nobody talked about exercise. They had to do clinical trials over a 10-year period to decide that exercise was good for you. Duh. Now, I met Tony Horton the other day. If you know who Tony Horton is, he's the godfather of videos. P90X. And he said to me, "You got to exercise." He said to the audience, and I talked to him afterward, but he said to the audience, "You got to exercise. Who exercises 3 to 4 times a week? Who exercises 4 to 5 times a week? Who exercises 6 to 7 times a week?" He said, "You got to exercise 6 to 7 times a week to make a difference. Even if it's a half an hour, you got to exercise 6 to 7 times a week." So I started exercising. And you got to exercise beyond your comfort zone. Beyond your comfort zone. That's the key word if you want to make a difference. And that's how I lost all the weight. And I don't have six-pack abs, but I have two-pack abs. And my wife the other day hit me in the stomach 5 times just to prove to some friends that I have a tough stomach. I told her, don't do that anymore. I don't like that. Stay engaged, mentally stimulated. It's so important when you have a life-changing event, when you're down in the dumps, when you're depressed, to stay mentally stimulated, whatever that takes, whatever turns you on. I just joined a euchre club. I don't know if people know what euchre is. It's a card game. I just joined a euchre club in Sarasota. Everyone there is from Michigan, Ohio. I don't know why that's a place for it to be, from the euchre. But it keeps me mentally stimulated, and it keeps me social. It keeps me involved. 4 years ago, I hit rock bottom. I was showing all the symptoms of Parkinson's, which are shaking hand, which comes back from time to time, tremors. My face had no expression. I was fatigued. I was sleeping a lot. I wasn't engaging with my family. I wasn't doing well. And then I made the decision, as we talked to Davis, and I made the decision to do everything I could possibly do to make this life-changing event as tolerable as possible. And in January of 2012, I went to St. John, the Virgin Islands, and I met Bernadette. And we fell in love. And you know when it's right, it's right. And that was in January 2012. We got married in February 2012. Didn't wait very long. Now, besides the fact that she's a wonderful person and very attractive, she's also an exercise and nutrition enthusiast, which wasn't a bad little side note. And she became the drill sergeant. She was lieutenant colonel, whatever you want to call her. But she did it in a subtle way, which is kind of interesting. She started doing Insanity by Sean T. Anyone ever see that infomercial, Insanity? It is insane. So she started doing this. She's jumping over imaginary logs, and she's doing the Heisman position back and forth. And I just watched her, and she never forced me to do anything. And finally I said, let me try that. And I didn't do it well at first, and I got better, and I got better. And then I said, well, if you had your druthers, what exercise routine would I be on? And she said, well, you start on the treadmill, start slow. And then she put me on the elliptical machine. And then we started doing spin bike. Then we started doing interval training on spin bike, looking at videos, where you stand up on the spin bike, and you still continue to spin the pedals. Then we did boxing fitness, kettlebell fitness, and today I still do hot yoga and kettlebell fitness. At the time I saw Davis Finney, I had lost 25 pounds. I unintentionally have lost 40 pounds. My cholesterol has gone from 180, bad cholesterol, down to 100. And I feel so much better. Muhammad Ali. Saying, hit the mitt, don't hit me in the face. Hit the mitt, don't hit me in the face. I'm not supposed to be able to do that 12 years into my Parkinson's, but I do. And you just keep moving forward. You just keep moving forward. Tap into your inner strength. I know that each and every one of you have the inner strength to do this. Just tap into it. Find it. It's in you.
Hi, my name is Joanne Clark, and I now teach water aerobics at the Southern Indiana Y. I started going there after I was diagnosed with Parkinson's. I didn't move my arms. I couldn't walk straight. I frozen face, the whole thing. And the water exercise has done wonders for me. And I just wanted to recommend it for anyone here with Parkinson's. Get in the water. You will be amazed at what it will do. I am better now than I was 10 years ago, so I'm in the water. That's all I wanted to say. And thank you for your talk. It was wonderful.
Thank you. Whatever exercise you're comfortable with, that's the exercise you should do. Whatever's fun to you, don't make it hard. When I do 90 minutes of hot yoga, it's torture. But I tell you what, when I step out of that room and the breeze hits me, I feel great. And the window of feeling great lasts 2 to 3 hours. So I'll go through the 90 minutes of torture for 3 hours of feeling great. You don't know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. Those of you that don't have life-changing events, you have the luxury of not doing these things. Those of you that do have no choice. It's your job now. If you care about your loved ones, if you care about your caregivers, you need to do the things that I'm suggesting. Those of you who don't have life-changing events, do it anyway. It's good for you. Maybe you won't have a life-changing event. Do you have to eat? Do you have to have a heart attack to stop eating fatty meat? Do you have to have lung cancer to stop smoking? No, just do it. Just keep moving forward. Jim Valvano, one of my favorite speakers, did an unbelievable speech at the ESPYs. He says, if you every day you think, you laugh, and you brought to tears, whether tears of sadness or tears of joy, you've had a heck of a day. I strive for that every day. Uncover your purpose. I use this phrase very specifically. You've got a purpose. Everyone's got a purpose. You just have to uncover it. Don't create it, just uncover it. It's already there. But find your purpose. Michael J. Fox, let me tell you why I think sometimes Parkinson's is for the best. Would he have raised hundreds of millions of dollars for Parkinson's research had he not gotten Parkinson's? Nope. Would I be standing in front of you or sitting in front of you right now if I didn't get Parkinson's? I used to work late almost every day. I would be in an office reading contracts and probably die at my desk. Now I get to spend some time with you and feel the energy and inspiration that I get from you and increase my inspiration bucks. I got to teach at U of L, I got to write a book, and I got to help others. That's a heck of a life. Thank you, Parkinson's. Boy, does that sound strange. Believe in yourself and your team. One of the most arrogant people in the world is Ted Williams. But Ted Williams believed in himself. He's the last person to bat 400. Now, if you know baseball, 400 is an unbelievable batting average. Even though it sounds strange that it only gets 4 hits out of every 10 times, that means he fails 6 times. But you're an all-star making millions of dollars if you bat 300. That's 3 times out of 10. So the last day of the season, the coach comes to him and says, we got a doubleheader today, Ted. You're batting 399.9. It's going to be rounding up to 400. You can sit today and you'll bat 400. And he's the last person to bat 400, and that was in 1945. You know what Ted Williams said? I'm playing. He got 6 hits out of 8 at-bats, ended up at 406. That's believing in yourself. Call it arrogance, call it believing in yourself. That's believing in yourself. Create your new end vision. Increase your intensity, dig deep, raise your level of awareness, tap into your resources and contacts, and have faith. Have faith in yourself, have faith in others, and have faith in a higher power. My man Muhammad Ali, I'm the greatest. I said that even before I knew I was. Muhammad Ali says, my training starts when I don't think I can take another step. And that's what I think about every time I'm doing Bikram hot yoga and I'm in 90 minutes of unbelievable heat, or I'm boxing for a half an hour and I can't lift my arm for one more hit. I think of what Muhammad Ali says. Training begins when you can't take one more step.
going to ask, and I know some people here are caregivers, and for some of them that may sometimes get frustrated or emotional themselves, any advice that you would have? Or obviously Bernadette is a huge support for you. So Bernadette, maybe you could come up here too and share a little bit from the support end.
This is her forte. This is where she shines.
I actually do have the wonderful opportunity to address caregivers in most of the Parkinson symposiums that we attend around the country and around the world. And when we attend these symposiums, I get so much out of them just from the educational standpoint, but also from the supportive standpoint from other caregivers and what they're going through. What I just picked up just recently, we were in New Orleans, and I never really thought of it this way, but as a care partner, I like to call myself, we're partners in this together. So the relationship, the dichotomy of the relationship sometimes changes. John May is my husband, so he's the man of the house, and he does things around the house. But oftentimes he's unable to do that. So the roles start to change. So as the wife, you start to feel a lot of those emotional roller coaster symptoms that John spoke about earlier. The denial, the anger, the depression, the fear, some of those feelings of, wait, I didn't really sign up for this. And I think it's important for caregivers to understand that reaching out to the support groups and realizing that you're not in this alone and getting that understanding that you can find tips to get through those times in your life where you are feeling really depressed or that you are feeling alone, that you can really get the help that you need. And it might be clinical also, where you need to go to a doctor or a support group or psychologist or a psychiatrist in that moment, and it will help. So
Isn't that great?
it's great.
She's such a better speaker than I am.
No. But there also is another thing that I'd like to say, and I call it the 30-minute rule. For any caregiver, I also give them that 30-minute rule, and that's a 30-minute time frame within the day to do whatever it is that brings you your joy, whether it is calling your best friend from high school, whether it's hanging out with your grandchildren, whether it is gardening or painting, doing your favorite exercise video at home. You really do need to carve out that time for yourself so that you can be even better caregiver than you already are.
Or drinking bourbon on the rocks.
I'm, for one, diagnosed about 2.5 years ago. Had it for years, probably. I'm better off today than I was when I diagnosed, definitely. Meds, exercise. But the main thing I wanted to say was probably wouldn't have been diagnosed like that if it wasn't for Norton's. So I want to thank Norton's for doing this and other things.
Is that it for questions? Okay. On behalf of Norton Healthcare and WLKY and everyone here, let's say thank you to Mr. Baumann. Give him a big round of applause. You're such an inspiration. And a thank you to Bernadette as well. Thank you for being part of this.